Hi guys, so today I'm going to draw Karina from aespa, and I'll also provide some sort of like a guide while I'm drawing, because a lot of people are asking me how I stylize my portraits and how I draw faces with my style, so this can be also some sort of a tutorial for you guys. And this is like a relatively new sketchbook because I've just started like a page, and I've drawn Giselle because I was actually waiting for my painting to dry, so I just did that to kill time. But today we're going to be continuing to draw aespa, and I'm going to draw Karina. And actually the first step is to pick a good reference photo, and obviously you can draw whatever you want, but for the sake of this tutorial I picked this photo, which she is wearing glasses, and there are a lot of like different accessories, so that can really help with making the whole drawing process easier, because there are a lot of accessories for you to identify that this is Karina, and it can make your drawing look more like the person. We're going to put the reference photo here and we can start drawing. So I'm going to put the reference photo somewhere in the camera so you can see better. And okay, so but for now let's start a new page. And so the thing is, we're going to draw a circle that represents her face shape, but make sure that the circle isn't too much to the side, because you still need to draw the hair and make some minor adjustments. And it's also not good to have like the face, which is the center of the person, in such a far place, because it just doesn't look good. So this is her face, and one thing with guidelines is that you don't have to stick to them so much, because it's literally just for reference. And as you can see, I tried to use like softer lines because I have to erase them later. And I'm going to draw this to separate the face into 4 quarters, and it's guidelines for drawing the nose and the eyes. And usually I know some people draw the eyes first, but I'm just not a fan of that. So usually I draw like the chin here, and as you can see, her face isn't that long, so it'll probably be around here. And you don't have to stick to these a lot, because you can literally erase them later on. And I might be speaking very weirdly because I don't really draw while I'm talking. I mean, talk while I'm drawing. So I like drawing the nose first, but obviously it depends on everyone. And some advice for drawing glasses is that you should draw the glasses last, because it'll really affect on how you draw eyes. And if you're worried it doesn't look like your reference, then you can get a photo of that person without glasses. So yeah, you just draw that and then add the glasses. That also works as well. For me, I like drawing the lips first, like the nose and then the lips. I'm not really a person that draws lips, so I usually just draw like the opening of the mouth and add this to represent the lips. And if you can see in the picture, you can see that her chin is rather sharp, but we can refine that in the end because we should draw other parts first. So first I'm going to draw her neck. And it's really important to know like which side your reference is facing, because that really affects the perspective and everything. And in this case, she's facing front, but her body is facing the other way. So if we have to draw guidelines for the body, then it'll be like this. So this is here, but the center of her body is facing this way, so her body is facing this way and her face is facing front. But I don't really draw like guidelines for the body. But obviously you can still do that, because there aren't really rules to like how you draw. Okay, so this is my draft for the body, and I think the most important thing is to pay attention to the proportions. For example, like if you're somebody who's really bad with body proportions like me, then you should like take note on where like their surroundings. Like for example, if you don't know how long this arm is, then you can pay attention that it's on like the button spot, so you can draw it until here and stop where you see the button. So same as for like drawing the face, because I'm not really good with facial proportions, so I just draw the surrounding things first and make them as accurate as possible so I can use the surrounding things to measure the face. So this is still like a very early draft, so we can always fix these, but it's important to get like the basic shapes drawn down first. So now we can work on the face. So this is how she looks like. This is how she looks like without glasses. So we can use this with this, so we can draw them according to this photo, and after that we can try to match this face. So that's the thing with drawing with glasses, but it's also much easier because with more accessories you can hide things that you're not good at drawing. So I don't think her eyes are really according to this line. So if you look at it, her glasses will probably be here or a little lower. So you should draw the eyes somewhere around here. But actually it's really hard to tell on the first, like before drawing everything. So you should just draw a first one and then try to refine it. And a thing about drawing eyes that match is to draw them both at the same time. Oh, and also a really helpful thing while drawing these little portraits is to get these type of erasers, because if you use a big eraser, it'll smudge really easily. So using these erasers, you can erase these really small details, or you can just use blue tack, because I've seen other people use blue tack and blue tack doesn't smudge. And I feel like for my style, the expression really depends on the eyes. So if you want like a normal face, then you can draw the iris like touching both the upper and lower. But if you want like some sort of like an emo eye, or like, yeah, if you want them to look depressed, then you can just do this, and it makes them look higher, so it makes them look like they're depressed or something. So really minor adjustments can really change the entire expression of your character. So it's really important not to make this gap too wide, because it'll make your drawing look really unnatural if the iris is really stretched. Okay, I don't think this looks like her yet, but we can fix it after adding the hair. So her brows are like somewhere around here. Well, actually, I'm not really a person you can ask on how to draw brows, because I just don't know where to put them, and usually I just don't draw brows for a while. So we can just put them somewhere first, because you know you can always erase the stuff and try again. So you just put it there first, and you can make minor arrangements later. Okay, so now we're going to draw the hair, and as you can see, her bangs are like a separate sort of hair. Like her bangs are around here, and then there's the back of her head. So we're going to draw the bangs first to make things easier, and you have to find the hairline spot, which is like if I drew her entire head, then her hairline would somewhere be like around here. But really it just depends on your spatial sense, or you can actually put it wherever, because after you draw it, you'll realize it looks kind of weird, and that's probably the hairline. I actually really like drawing hair because, I don't know, something about drawing these little strands just feels very therapeutic. But it's like it's crucial to know that it is actually in strands. Like even if they seem really unorganized little strands, they actually all belong to like a certain tuft of hair to make that look natural. Oh, I think the face needs to be wider, because you can see that her face is rather wide and her chin is small, so it kind of, yeah, see, so you can make these minor adjustments as you're drawing other things because it'll tell you. And for ears, I feel like you can just follow whatever you see in the photo, because it's like, it's weird to tell you how to draw ears because you literally just look at what you see and just try, or else it's not gonna look like ears. Okay, so I think that's kind of it. And oh, I just saw there's a mole around here, and now we can draw the glasses. Okay, actually we should look back to her photo without glasses, and I feel like the hair needs some fixing. Okay, then we can try to color the eyes. I feel like everyone has like a different design to how to color their eyes, so it just really depends on personal style. But I feel like the important thing about your eye design is that it shouldn't entirely be colored. You should leave some spot for light so your characters don't look dead. And I know some people have like lower lashes as well, so you can add some but don't add a lot, or else it's going to take away the focus for the eyes. And most K-pop idols have like lower lashes as well, so you can give it to them. Okay, so now I'm going to draw the glasses. So the middle part is here. So as you can see, the bangs, like these side fringes are actually like on the glasses, so you can change them to make the curling more natural. Okay, I think that's great. So we can clean up our sketch a little bit. And also this has like some sort of a texture, so I feel like you don't have to make it super realistic if you don't like, especially if the rest of your painting, I mean your portrait, isn't really super realistic. You'll just make yourself comfortable with it as long as you can, you know, replicate the feeling. And also one tip I would give people, whichever style you're drawing in, is to make sure the neck looks natural, because I know there's some styles that the neck is really thin, which is actually fine. But I feel like if your style is kind of realistic, it's better to give like a thicker neck, or at least a neck that is proportionate, because it'll feel really weird to have like a really thin neck, realistically speaking. So actually I feel like this is fine. So we can start coloring, and like I'm not actually going to color, I'm just going to shade some colors onto it. We're going to do the hair first, and as you can see there's some and we're not going to shade. And Actually, these are like the bending parts of the hair. Like for example, your hair looks like this from the side. Like imagine these are your bangs. Like this is your eyebrows. Like imagine these are your bangs. Then this part will be colored, and not this part because this part is the light source. So we're going to leave this part white because the light shines onto it. And we're going to do the same for this. So always just follow the reference if you don't know what you're doing. And for these thinner strands of hair, I feel like you can just draw some loose strands to make it look more realistic, but don't add too much because, you know, when it's over the edge, then it kind of looks very messy. Also, I mentioned like the bangs are like a separate thing. Like you can see that this part is the face and then that's like the back part of the head. So you make sure your lines when you're sketching this shows, because it makes people like have a clearer sense of what you're drawing. So as you can see, I tried to make like this back part a little bit darker because I was trying to separate the two parts. Okay. We're going to color the lower part, but because of my style, I usually just, you know, color it out like that. So that's what I'm going to do, but I do pay attention to like the lighter parts and the darker parts. Like these parts are darker, I'm going to color it harder, and these parts are softer. So I do follow like a little bit of light as well, but I don't do it overly because my style isn't really like that realistic. But really it depends on you because it's your style, so you can do things however you want. And I did say this part was roughly sketched, so you can now make it more refined. And I think this is just style preferences, but if you're looking for a more realistic coloring, then you can always use greater values. Like for example, you can use a darker color for the darker parts and lighter color for the lighter parts, and you can also blend if you like, but I'm not like a really blending person. And also I like to add this blush thing in the end because I just think it looks cute. So it's part of my style, and if you do know my style really well, you know that I like tracing the outlines like this. Usually I just use like pen pressure, but technically you can use like a 10B pencil to do it. I just don't like that because it seems like really hard to erase, especially when there are times that I don't like my sketches and I just want to like redo it. Then I don't like it when there are marks after I erase it. So there goes my drawing for today. Thank you for watching my video, and I hope you'll have fun with drawing your sketches.